Alright guys, today is item number 10, and the title of today's lesson is solving two-step and multi-step equations. Solving two-step and multi-step equations. So same things that we were doing with two-step and multi-step equations when we were just solving them without inequalities, but now we're going to be throwing in the inequality sign. So remembering the rules about when we are going to be flipping the inequality is also important. So let's look at 160 plus 4f is less than or equal to 500. Okay, so we're going to want to isolate the f in the long run of things. So the first thing we're going to do is add or subtract if the constant is by itself. So here's a constant, it's by itself. We're going to subtract 160 from both sides. That leaves us with 4f here. We did not multiply or divide by a negative number, so we're not going to be flipping the variable here. So this is 0 and 4 and 3, so that's 340. And then we have 4f is less than or equal to 340. We're going to want to divide both sides by 4 to isolate the variable in this case, which is f. So we're going to get 4f is less than or equal to 340 divided by 4, which is equal to 85. Okay, again, if we're going to graph this, which I'm sure you will need to in your homework, sorry about that, you are going to have it look something like this. We'll put 85 in the middle. We'll go up on this side, and we'll go down on the left side. And we have 85. We're going to have a closed circle because it is less than or equal to, and we're going to draw a line to everything that is less than f, or 85. Remember that if the variable is on the left, that means that we can match the arrow pointing on the number line is the same, points the same way as the inequality sign. Okay, so let's look at another one. Of course, that was a two-step equation. Let's look at another one, and we're going to look at 7 minus 2t is less than or equal to 21. Okay, first we're going to add or subtract if the constant's by itself. We have a constant by itself of 7, a positive 7, so we're going to subtract 7 from this side and 7 from this side. That leaves us with a negative 2t less than or equal to 14. Again, so far we haven't added or divided, we haven't multiplied or divided by a negative number, so we didn't need to flip. On the other hand, here we're going to be dividing by a negative 2. Because we divide by a negative 2, we're going to flip the inequality here, leaving us with a negative 7 on the right side. So we're going to use a nice little graph here. Remember, biggers go on the right, smallers go on the left. So we're going to put negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, negative 4, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10. T is on the left. We're going to find negative 7. It is greater than or equal to, so we're going to color that in. And it is greater than, so it's going to be all the things that are bigger than negative 7 or closer to 0. Okay, so that again is a two-step equation. We need to also talk about simplifying before we solve. And when we did equations, we were talking about sometimes we might have to distribute or we might have to combine like terms. So let's look at some things that we might have to come across. In number 1, we're going to say we have a negative 4 plus a negative 8 is less than 5c minus 2. So if we take this out of the parentheses, we'd have negative 4 minus 8 is less than 5c minus 2. A negative 4 and a negative 8, those add together to be negative 12 is less than 5c minus 2. Now we have something that we can solve. We're going to add or subtract if the constant's by itself. The constant here is 2, it's negative. So we're going to add it to both sides. That's going to leave us with a negative 10 less than 5c. We're going to divide both sides by a 5 to get c by itself and get negative 2 is less than c. Now, to graph this, I'm going to want to flip it to make it easier for me. Sorry about that. I'm going to put c on the left side, and look here, the inequality is going to open up to the c, so we're going to make sure the inequality opens up to the c over here as well and have it a negative 2. So we're going to go ahead and graph this guy. We're going to have negative 2 in the middle. We're going to be going bigger over here and smaller to the left. Okay, and that negative 2 is here. Open circle because it is greater than, not equal to. So greater than, if c is greater than negative 2, it's going to be everything that is bigger than negative 2. Okay, so that's how we would deal with combining some like terms. In this case, we combine constants. Okay, continuing on item number 10. And now we're going to be going on number 2. Number 2 is 3, negative 3, let's make it, times 3 minus x, which is less than 4 squared. Well, we see some things that we need to do. We need to distribute, so let's start by distributing, because that would be the first step. We're going to distribute that negative 3. So we're going to multiply negative 3 times 3 and negative 3 times a negative x. So that's going to look like this. Negative 3 times 3 minus, let's say plus, negative 3 times a negative x is less than 4 squared. That's going to give us negative 9 plus 3x. These two negatives canceled each other out when we multiplied. Is less than 4 squared. And now let's go ahead and simplify that exponent, because it's going to make it easier if we simplify the exponent. So then we have negative 9 plus 3x is less than 4 times 4, which is 16. Now we're going to add or subtract if the constant is by itself. So we're going to add 9 to both sides because that is the constant by itself, leaving us with 3x is less than 25. We're going to divide both sides by 3, and that's going to give us x is less than 8 1/3. So we could just leave it at 8 1/3. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and solve for 3. And let's say we had 4 over 5x plus 1 over 2 is greater than 3 over 5. Now we talked about what we do with fractions. The first thing we're going to do is multiply by the least common denominator. In this case it's going to be 10, so we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by 10. So 10 times 4 over 5x plus 1/2 times 10 is greater than 3 over 5 times 10. So we're going to go ahead and do some cross canceling quickly. 5 goes into itself 1 time, 5 goes into 10 2 times, 10 goes in, or 2 goes into its 10 5 itself 1 time, 2 goes into 10 5 times, 5 goes into itself 1 time, and 5 goes into 10 2 times. If we multiply everything through, that's going to leave us with denominators of 1. And our numerators here are 2 times 4x, which would be 8x, plus 1 times 5, which is 5, greater than 3 times 2, which is 6. Then we're going to, now look at that. We have it much more simplified. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides. We're going to have 8x is greater than 1, and then we're going to divide both sides by 8, and we're going to have x is greater than 1/8. Okay? And now I want you to log on to my www.hrw.com, and I want you to watch example number 3. And when you are done watching example number 3, you are going to start on our homework today. And our homework is going to be 3.4. And I think we're going to do all unless I tell you otherwise. Okay, if you have any questions, please make sure you ask me. Otherwise, have fun on the homework.